You like orbs, but have absolutely no clue what they're good for. You keep a stack of them in case you're gonna use them, but actually never get to. And then it turns out that your hoard of wisdom scrolls is actually worthless. If so, then you came to the correct place. As today, we're gonna be covering basic currency, Orb of Transmutation and Orb of Augmentation. Orb of Transmutation is used to upgrade a white item with no stats to a blue, also called magic item, with a single stat on it. Blue items can only have 2 mods on them. As we have added one with our Orb of Transmutation, we cannot upgrade it further with the same orb. But here comes an Orb of Augmentation that adds the missing modifier. Now, the quality of those mods is questionable, it's all up to RNG, but we've got a 2-modded item with the 2 most basic orbs we have gotten. Now, why is it good? It's a baseline to crafting. You can use it while leveling in the campaign to upgrade your gear, or when you're at the endgame and start picking up good bases, you can slam them with transmutations, hoping to get some good modifiers that you can craft upon further. What about the Greater and Perfect Orbs of Transmutation and Augmentation? They work in the same way. Literally, upgrade your white item or add a modifier to a blue item. The only difference is that the Greater Orb cannot roll any modifiers below level 44, and Perfect cannot roll anything below level 70, cutting the mod pool by like 80%. It's way easier to hit a tier 1, which is the best, the highest tier. The lower the tier, the better the mod. So it's way easier to hit the best mod with a perfect orb than it is with a normal orb. Like in this example. Quick. We got a tier 2 chaos resistance roll, which is pretty decent. And we slap it with an Aug. We got a tier 1 hybrid, which is absolutely goated if it didn't have life. But that's another topic. Regals are the thing which take our blue item and turn it yellow. Also called rare. How does it help us? Rare items can have up to 6 modifiers, 3 suffixes and 3 prefixes. So that gives us a lot of more room for fancy mods on our item. In this example. Ooh. Oh, we got more mana. And a tier 3 Regal. Increased energy shield. Ooh, tier 1. Basically, it turns our magic item into a rare item. Hopefully good one. Now, another sort of Regal Orb are essences. Up to Greater, because Perfect got their own rules. But a Greater essence works exactly the same way. It's gonna turn your blue item into a rare item, but it's gonna guarantee the mod that's written on the essence. So if you're leveling and have a pretty good magic item, but for example, you're missing cold resistance. If you were lucky enough to drop an essence that gives cold res, you can just slap it on your blue item and have a rare item with guaranteed mod, which is quite good early on. Next, my personal favorites, Exalted Orbs. Now, when you're just starting out, like the league is new, you usually don't want to waste too many of them, as you can buy good stuff with them. Usually, for a single exert, you're gonna buy a better item than you're gonna get. But if you're like me, and you cannot be helped, Exalted Orbs can be used to add more mods to an item. You usually don't use basic exalts to craft. I'm gonna show you anyways how it looks. Basically, add the mods, right? Because it's like a normal Exalted Orb, it added tier 7 mods, which are pretty bad. If I would use a perfect Exalted Orb, I would get some decent modifiers. Although, be warned, perfect Exalted Orbs are very expensive. They're like 3 divines each right now. What you can use normal Exalted Orbs on though are maps. And that's what I use them. You just grab a map, use an Orb of Alchemy, which I'm gonna talk about in a sec, and then add the missing mods, up to 6, onto my map. So I have the most juicy map possible. Orbs of Alchemy are also pretty fine. They turn a white or a blue item yellow or rare. Basically, you click them, Ta-da, done. Only guarantees 4 mods though. They're good for mass crafting your maps, or slapping them on strong boxes. Usually don't want to craft with them, as you cannot guarantee if the mods are gonna be any good. There are no perfect Orbs of Alchemy. It's like full RNG. You can slap them on the rings though, from time to time, and it does work. Now a pretty funny one, Chaos Orbs. Usually early on, they are cheaper than Exiles, but overtake them as the league goes on, as people use Chaos Orbs to craft. What does Chaos Orb do? It removes a random modifier and adds another one. Like in this example, we're gonna pocket. We removed the shitty modifier and we added lightning damage. Now you don't want to go spamming them randomly without a plan, as people buy them in huge amounts to craft, so they're pretty easy money. There are ways to force them to remove specific mods or roll more or less what you want, but it's kinda outside of the basic guide. I might have lied a bit telling you that Exalted Orbs are my personal favorites, as there's one cheeky orb called the Vaal Orb. This one is the funny one. After using it, it corrupts your item. It cannot be changed in any way, except for using currency that comes from Vaal Temple, which allows you to corrupt it again, which usually ends in the item being destroyed and just poofing. But what does this orb do? On unique items, it can do nothing, which is okay. It can reroll the modifiers of an item, pushing them outside of the boundaries, which is actually pretty good and can earn you some money when you buy a popular unique, valid, and actually get a better roll than possible. It can add another inflict modifier to an item from a pool of specific Vaal inflicts, or it can add a socket, which is also quite good. On rare items though, there is a chance for it to absolutely brick the item. If you use a Vaal Orb on a rare item, it can reroll the stats and brick it. Let's click it here. And it did reroll the first mod. I think it was fire damage here that we lost. So, the item bricked. Not that it was good. Another fancy crafting currency, which are Orbs of Annulment. What they do? They remove a random modifier. For example, on this one, let's slap 3, just lost 3 divines. Anyway, we removed all the mods, but the item didn't degrade from rare, this yellow, to a white one. We're stuck with a rare item with no mods. So we aren't able to use transmutes. If you would like to do anything with it, would have to start with Exiles in high-end crafting, where you can semi-guarantee which mods you're gonna remove, with omens and other stuff. But as I said, that topic would need another guy. Whetstones, Armorer scraps, and Etchers are quality currency. Now what they do is improve the base item for Whetstones and scraps, and Etchers improve the quality of the spell they grant. Now different rarities of an item require higher amounts of said currency. If you have a white item, it's gonna cost way less scraps than to upgrade a unique item. Now, is it good? It's probably the best way to upgrade your defenses, or the cheapest way possible. Also, one of the better ways to get some damage if you're running a physical build. Artificer Orbs are self-explanatory, I would say. They allow you to add a socket to any item. Some items can have a single socket, others can do. There are also exceptional items, which are drop only. They drop with an additional socket above their limit. And they can also be valved to guarantee another socket. Now, Chance Orbs. Chance Orbs allow you to gamble. We all know that gambling is bad for yourself, right? Let's all agree on that. Anyhow, they're pretty sought after, as people are chasing headhunters or mage bloods. Personally, I would just sell those bases and Chance Orbs away. I have spent so much money and I didn't hit anything, so I cannot recommend it. They're good and so self-found though, as if you're chasing a specific item, you can add white bases. You can only chance white bases. That's why white bases for headhunters and magebloods can spare you some exiles. But you can chance whichever base you want, hoping to get a unique that's attached to this base. Like, for example, we're gonna try chancing a headhunter, and with my luck, we're total like 250 divines down the drain. Donks! Glasblbrl or Glasblbrl bubbles allow you to add quality to a flask, increasing the amount of mana or life it recovers. Now did I tell you that you can also use your transmutations and augmentations to improve your flasks? Divine Orbs are currently the standard currency. Exiles are your pennies and Divines are your dollars, basically. Now, they're also useful, as a Divine Orb allows you to reroll the stat values of any item. For example, if you got an item with pretty low rolls, like my Headhunter would suck, I could use a Divine to reroll it. Like on the swing, for example, you click it, and it changes the values of the modifiers. It can't upgrade or reduce the tier, but it's gonna reroll the values in the tiers. You usually don't want to do that unless you're rich, because you want to spend those divines on good items. Usually for a divine you can get a pretty decent item that you're gonna be using for a long time. Now, this little fella here, called Fracturing Orb, allows you to lock in place a single modifier. Now, you cannot choose which kinda sucks, because I haven't hit anything good this league with them. But if you use it on an item, look. Now, if you use it on an item, click. It's gonna lock in a random modifier. In this case, accuracy. Like, I would vendor the item, because now it's full Pepega. Anyways, if you hit something good with a fracture, you can sell it for a lot of money. Like, a lot of money, because it's pretty rare. If I would annul the item down, I cannot annul the fracture away. If I would roll with an essence or anything, or with a chaos orb, I cannot remove it. So it's great for crafting items. If you land a good fracture, you can for example spam chaos orbs to land another tier 1 modifier that you would like. Last but not least are the jewelers. Now, they're also pretty easy, I would say. Let me just cut my twister. Now, when you craft or rather create a gem, a skill gem, right? It comes with only 2 sockets. Now, Lesser Jeweler gives it 3 sockets. Greater, 4. Now, you could Vaal it and hope for another socket, which is kinda funny. Or if you're very lucky, we're playing Trade League where perfect jewelers are actually quite cheap right now. You can guarantee yourself 5 sockets for maximum power. There are also gemcutter prisms that add quality to your gems. Same way as we did with armor or weapons with scraps or whetstones. Each gem has its own personal quality effect. When you hover over your gem and press Alt, it's gonna show you. Like for example here, additional effect from quality, 20% chance for an additional twister. It's basically 20% chance for 20% more damage. Nice! Although there are some gems where you're gonna hover over and it's not gonna show you the quality effect. Why? You probably have like multiple tabs here, and if you click onto the other tab, you're gonna see that there's the effect from quality. Collapses deal 40% more damage per additional stage. Now, let me add my quality to a twister, and as we ain't no brokies here, I'm gonna get the Vaal Orbs, open my gem tab, and we're gonna Vaal my twister. And we didn't hit anything. When you Vaal your gems, there's a chance, a tiny chance, it's gonna increase its level to 21. And that's a lot of money. It can also increase its quality. But it can also fall down to level 19, or like 1 level below, or lose quality, which sucks. There are 2 more basic currency items I haven't covered, because I'm too poor. It's Hinekora's Log and Mirror of Kalandra. Now, Hinekora's Log is worth around 200 something divines right now. What does it do? When you use it on an item, it allows you to see what effect any orb you use on it would have. So for example, if you would like to Vaal a very expensive item like a Headhunter, you could use a Hinekora's Log to see the outcome of the Vaal. And Mirror allows you to literally mirror an item. You can take the best item in-game, like 6 tier 1 mods, like absolutely perfect creme de la creme for your build, and mass copy it and sell it. But you gotta get mirrors. And it's like 2,000 something divines right now. So if you get absurdly lucky and somehow manage to drop it, I've seen a single mirror in like 10 years. Sell it and fund your build for the next 10 years. Don't use it on white items, please. If you're curious about the prices or if the currency you're about to slap is worth anything, and you kinda don't check it in your hideout, this website has everything you need. I'm gonna leave the link down in the description so you can use it whenever you want to. Or if you got any other questions, I stream almost daily, so feel free to hit me up here or on Twitch. And if you got any comments or would like to see any topic explained, let me know in the comments and I'm gonna answer. Thank you very much. And don't forget to subscribe if you'd like more Path of Exile content. See ya soon.